Hello, let us start the review of previous lecture. In previous lecture, we have studied what is object-oriented modeling and design. Object-oriented modeling and design have a prerequisite knowledge of software engineering and C++. In software engineering, you have studied concept of different modules, then codings, then different phases. The same concepts are used here. Similarly, in C++, you have studied the concept of class, object, inheritance, polymorphism used here. So, in previous lecture, we have studied object modeling and design is a new way of thinking about problems using model organized around real world concept. What is a model? First question is what is a model? Model is a small thing or a demo through which we can construct a big thing. What is object? Object, it is an instance of a class. Then what is a class? Class is a combination of data and function together, which have two parts, private part and public part. The private part is a part. In that part, nobody can enter without any permission, whereas the public part, anybody can enter in that part. So object oriented modeling, then what is a design? Design is a structure. So object oriented modeling and design is a new way of thinking about the problems using model organized around the real world concepts. So it is a new way of thinking about the problem regarding the models which are generated around real world concepts. Suppose there is a construction of a building. Before start the construction of a building, there is a picture of a demo of a building. The building looks like in future in this way. That is the picture shows the construction of the building. The fundamental construct is object, which combines both data, structure, and behavior in a single entity. Object-oriented models are useful for understanding problems, communicating with application experts, modeling enterprises, preparing a documentation, and designing problems and databases. So object-oriented models are useful to know what is the exact problem regarding the construction of a real-world concept or models in that we are generating in the real world. So this is the first part of know the problem. Second part, communicate with application expert. That is the communication is the second part. Then modeling enterprise, generate a small demo regarding that construction. Then preparing a documentation and designing programming and database. Whenever you are writing a program or you are uh, when you are doing a project, you have done a mini project in last semester. Similarly, in this year, you have a mega project group of 4 students. So, in that project, you should have to know what is the problem regarding that the project. communication with your expert teachers, group leaders, and members. Then there are some modules, that is module the enterprise. Then preparation of the documents regarding the your projects. Then what is the design, then program course, and what is the expected database regarding that the project. This project In that project, you should have to know the knowledge regarding object-oriented models. So, in previous chapter, we have studied the object-oriented software development methodology, the object modeling technique, which extends from analysis through the design to implementation. So, first, an analysis model is built to abstract essential aspects of application domain without regard for eventual implementation. Suppose you are purchasing a suppose you are purchasing a car for a long drive. Then you are thinking what is the driving, what is the color, what is the shape. Then but in case of in a scientist, he will imagine his imagination is the car is moving with Newton's first law, second law, third law, whether there is a particular grip with tires and roads. So there is a think a difference between a driver and an engineer. So abstract essential aspects of application domain without regard the eventual implementation. This model contains the objects found in application domain, including a description of properties of objects and their behavior. The design
त्यांना
decisions.
अलाव करा सर, वेट करतायत ते बाहेर.
हाँ हाँ ठीक है. So the first analysis model is to build the abstraction essential aspects of the application domain without regard for eventual implementation. This model contains objects found in the application domain, including a description of the properties of the objects and their behavior. Then design decisions are made and details are added to the model to describe and optimize the implementation. The next part is application domain of objects. Application domain objects from the framework of the design model. Hmm. ऑनलाईन लेक्चर चालू आहे हो. उचलू का बोलू कसं. हम्म. हम्म. हो. The application domain objects from the framework of the design model, but they are implemented in terms of computer domain objects. Finally, the design model is implemented in programming language, database, or hardware. So we describe a graphical notation for expressing object-oriented models. Application domain and computer domain objects can be modeled, designed, and implemented using the same object-oriented concepts and notations. The same seamless notation is used from analysis to design implementation so that information added in one stage of development need not be lost or translated for the next stage. Then what is object oriented? we sh- we know that the concept of object is the instance of class. Then generally the term object oriented means we organize software as a collection of discrete objects, that is the different objects that incorporate with both data structure and behavior are only loosely connected. हाँ देतो की 12 वाजता देतो. हो हो हो, देतो देतो. There are some dispute about exactly what characteristics are required by an object-oriented object approach, but they generally include four aspects: identity, classification, polymorphism, and inheritance. We'll see one by one. Before that, characteristics of objects. Identity means that the data is quantized into different distinguishable entities called objects. A paragraph in a document, examples we are giving: a paragraph in a document, a window on my workstation, or a white queen in a chess game are the examples of objects. A paragraph document is a whole class, and a paragraph is an object of that class. It is a part of that class. The paragraph contains a different particular events. Second example is window on my workstation. Third is a white queen in a chess game. So object can be concentrated such as a file in a file system. Objects can be concrete such as a file in a file system, or conceptual such as a scheduling policy in multi-processing operating system. We have studied different scheduling policies in multi-processing operating system: first come first serve, round robin, shortest time remaining next. These scheduling policies are the objects of the multiprocessing operating system. Each object have its own inherent identity. In other words, two objects are different even if their entire attribute values such as name and size are identical. Even if the name and size is identical, but they have different identity. So then classification. Classification means the objects with the same data structure and behavior are grouped in a single class. In a class, there are two parts: private part and public part. And third part is protected part, which is used in inheritance. But we will consider only two parts: private part and public part. So what is a private part and what is a public part? The property which contains same data structure, same attributes, same operations grouped in a single part, which may be either private or which may be either public. Similarly, the same data structure, behavior, operations are grouped in a class. That is a classification. That means cluster. Suppose examples are the paragraph, window, chess piece are the examples of classes. So class is an abstraction that describes properties important to an application. That describes properties important to an application and ignores the rest. A class is an abstraction that describes properties important to an application and ignores remaining. So any choice of classes is arbitrary and depends on the application. So describes each class describes the possibly infinite set of individual objects. We can generate a number of objects of a class, and each object is said to be an instance of its class. Such as example is a parent. Parent have number of childs, number of children, and each children is said to be a. So classification, a class is an abstraction that describes properties important to an application and ignores a rest. Any choice of classes is arbitrary and depends on the application. Each class describes a possibly infinite set of individually object, and each object is said to be the instance of that class, and each instance of that class have its own value for each attribute but shares the attributes names and operations with other instance of classes. Next part is a polymorphism. Polymorphism is a Greek word. Poly means many, morphism means forms, many forms under one name. That is a polymorphism. That is the same operation may behave differently on different classes. Example is a, suppose my class is a shape. Shape contains shape contains vertices, sides, angles. Okay, so this is the same operation but have different behave differently on different classes. Suppose a triangle, this class contains three vertices, three sides, three angles. Square, this includes four sides, four angles, and each angle with 90 degree. Then rectangle, four angles with 90 degree, and opposite sides are equal. All these properties are different regarding with different classes, but triangle, rectangle, circle, ellipse, parabola, whatever, these are the shapes under one name. They have different forms. The move operation example may behave differently on different classes. The operation is an action or
सर
transformation.
सर
हाँ
ते
बोल.
मिक जरा लांब पकडा की जरा मिक लांब पकडा ना थोडं.
हाँ ठीक है. the operation
आता बोला.
the operation is an action or transformation that an object performs or subject to write, justify, display, or move are the examples of operations. The specific implementation of an operation by certain class is called as a method. The specific implementation of an operation by a certain class is called method because the object oriented operator is polymorphic and it may have more than one method implementing it. In a real world, an operation is simply an abstraction of analogous behavior across different kinds of objects. Each object knows how to perform its own operation, not what to be done. In an object oriented programming language, however, the language automatically selects the correct method to implement an operation based on the name of the operation and the class of the object being operated on. The user of an operation need not.
हॅलो
Hello,
सर ती तुमची स्क्रीन दिसत नाहीये.
दिसत नाही का?
हा
ओके ओके ओके. स्क्रीन दिसते का आता?
हा सर दिसत.
आता दिसते का? स्लाइड दिसायला लागल्या?
हा स्लाइड दिसतात.
Okay, in an object-oriented programming language, however, the language automatically selects the correct method to implement an operation based on the name of the operation and access and the class of object being operated on. The user of an operation need not be aware of how many methods exist to implement to given a polymorphic operation. New classes can be added without changing existing code, provided methods are provided for each application operation on new classes. The next part is inheritance. You have studied the concept of inheritance in C++. Acquiring properties of one class to another class is known as inheritance. The same concept used here. Inheritance is a sharing of attributes and operations among classes based on the hierarchical relationships. There are 5 types of inheritance you have studied: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and mixed inheritance. So out of them, we have study here hierarchical relationship has a relationship. A class can be defined broadly and then refined into successively finer subclasses. Each subclass incorporates or inherits all the properties of superclass and adds its own unique properties. And these properties of superclass need not be repeated with each subclass. For example, windows of home. There are two types of windows: scrolling window and fixed window. Are the subclasses inherit from the properties of window, such as a visible region on the screen. Scrolling window adds scrolling window shows the okay. So scrolling window and fixed window are the subclasses inherit properties of window. Such a visible region on the screen. These are the screen windows. So scrolling window adds scroll bar and on offset. The ability to the factor out common properties of several classes into a common superclass and to inherit the properties from the superclass can greatly reduce a repetition within design and programs and is one of the main advantage of the object oriented system. Then what is the object oriented development? In this context, development refers front portion of the software lifecycle such as analysis, design, implementation. So whenever you are doing a project, first analyze that problem, then do the design regarding that problem and implement your modules. The essence of object oriented development is identification and organization of application domain concepts rather than their final representation in programming language, either object oriented or not. So, object oriented development is the identification and organization of the problem, which is application domain concept, rather than the final representation of the programming language, which is object oriented or not. The hard part of the software development is manipulation of its essence due to inherent complexity of the problem rather than the accidents of its mapping to particular language, which are due to temporary imperfection in our tools are rapidly being corrected. There does not implicitly address integration, maintenance, and enhancement out a cleaner design in a precise notation notation facilities these stages of the entire software lifecycle. The same object oriented concepts and notations used to express a design provide useful documentation during these stages. There are four stages. First is modeling concepts and implementation. Second, object oriented methodology. Third, three models, that is class, function, and object. And fourth, differences from functional methodology. So we'll study one by one. First is modeling concepts, not a implementation. So effort most of the effort to date in object oriented community has been focused in programming issues. So current emphasis on literature is on implementation rather than analysis and design. Object oriented programming languages are useful in removing restrictions due to the inflexibility of traditional programming languages. In a sense, however, this emphasis is a step backward for software engineering by focusing excessively on implementation mechanisms rather than the underlying thought process that they support. The real payoff comes from the addressing front-end conceptual issues rather than back-end implementation issues. The design flaws that the surface during implementation are more costly to fix than those that are found in earlier. Focusing on implementation issues too early restrict design choices, often leads inferior product. An object-oriented development approach encourages software developer to work and think in terms of application domain through most of the software engineering in life cycle. It is only the inherent concept of the applications are identified, organized, and understood that the details of the data structures and functions can be added effectively. So object oriented development is a conceptual process independent of programming language until the final stage. The object oriented development is a fundamentally new way of thinking, not a programming technique. Its greatest benefit come from helping specifier developers and customers express abstract the concepts clearly, communicate them each other. It can serve as medium for specification, analysis, documentation, and interfacing, as well as for programming. The object or modeling concepts is a medium for specification, analysis, documentation, interfacing, as well as programming. Whenever constructing a building, there is a demo is kept while constructing a building, which shows the specification of the real building. We can analyze that building, then documentation and interfacing, as well as the constructing. The demo shows the all kinds of concepts together. Even as a programming tool, it can have various including conventional programming languages and databases, as well as object oriented languages. Then second part is object oriented methodology. Whenever you are doing a project, there are the part is analysis the problem, then system design, then object design, and all the implementation, then shows the graphical representation, results, conclusions, and future works. All these are grouped together in object oriented methodologies. We represent a methodology for object oriented development and graphical notation for representing object-oriented concepts. The methodology consists of the models of an application domain and then adding implementation details to it during the design of system. We call this approach as object modeling technique, that is OMT. And this methodology has the following stages, that is analysis, system domain, object domain, and implementation. We'll see one by one. First is analysis. Whenever you start a particular problem, then analyze that problem due to which we can solve that problem and we can generate a model which is useful. So starting from a statement of a problem, analyst builds a model of real world situation showing its important property. The analyst must work on with a requester to understand the problem, because the problem statements are rarely complete or correct. Whenever you are doing a project, you should know what is your objective. Why are you doing this project? So first concept is analyze what is the reason. So you should know the program statements or problem statement of your project. That is the first step is analysis. Analysis model is, in short, precious abstraction of what the desired system must do, not how it will be done. So analysis model, it is an abstraction what the desired system must do, not how it will be done. And this object is in the model should be application domain concept and not the computer implementation concepts such as a data structure. A good model can be understand and criticized by the application experts who are not programmers. The analysis model should not contain any implementation decisions. For example, a window class in a workstation windowing a system would be described in terms of attributes and its operations visible to a user. Then second is a system design. Whenever your problem domain is analyzed, the next part is design a system regarding to that problem. The system designer makes high level decisions about overall architecture. During the system design, the target system is organized into subsystems based on both analysis structure and proposed architecture. The system designer must decide what the performance characteristics to optimize, choose the strategy of attacking the problem, and make a tentative resource allocation. For example, the system designer might decide the changes to the workstation screen must be fast and smooth even when windows are moved or erased, and choose an appropriate communication protocols and memory buffering strategy. Then third part, then in system design, system designer makes high level decisions about overall the architecture. During system design, the target system is organized into subsystems based on both analysis and structure proposed architecture. Then third part is object design. The object designer builds a design model based on analysis model but containing implementation design. Once your problem is defined, analyzed, then system designers start to the system design, then which system contains implementation which is based on the object model. The designer adds details to the design model accordance with the strategy established in system design, which is based by the system designer. The focus object design is an a data structure and algorithm needed to implement each class. The object classes from the analysis are still meaningful, but they are augmented with computer domain data structure and algorithm selected to optimize important performance measures. Both the application domain objects and computer domain object describe the same object oriented concepts and notations, although they exist on different conceptual planes. For example, window class operation are now specified in terms of the underlying hardware and operating system. Then fourth part is implementation. Once you have analyzed the problem, then system designer develop a system, then object designer develops or generates the system as per system designer, which is implemented by the analysis. Then last part is implementation. The objects, classes and relationships developed during object design are finally translated into a particular programming language, database or hardware implementation. Programming should be relatively minor or mechanical part of development cycle, because all of the hardware decisions should be made during design. The target language during implementation, it is important to follow good software engineering practice so that traceability to the design forward straightforward, and so that implemented system designs is flexible and extensible. This is the implementation. Then next part is three models. The object methodology technique uses three kinds of models. First is object model, dynamic model and functional model. So first, object model, which describes the objects in the system and their relationship. Dynamic model describes interaction among the objects in system, and functional model describes data transformation of the system. Each model is applicable during all stages of development and acquires implementation details such as development progresses. A complete description of system requires all three models. So we'll study in detail. First is object model. Object model describes the static structure of objects in the system and their relationships. The object model contains object diagram, and an object diagram is a graph whose nodes are object classes and whose arcs are relationship among the class. Dynamic model. Dynamic model describes the aspects of system changes over time. The dynamic model is used to specify and implement the control aspects of system. The dynamic model contains state diagrams. The state diagram is a graph whose models are state and whose arcs are transitions between the states caused by the events. And functional model. Functional model describes the data value transformation within a system. The functional model contains data flow diagrams. The data flow diagrams represents computation, and data flow diagram is a graph whose nodes are processes and whose arcs are data flows. A question may be asked for write a difference between three models: object model, dynamic model and functional model. Each model have a particular its own property. Object diagram, in object model, object diagram is a graph whose nodes are object classes and arcs are relationship among the class. State diagram is a graph whose, in dynamic model, state diagram, in object model, object diagram, in dynamic model, state diagram, in functional model, data flow diagram. So each diagram have its own properties. The three models are orthogonal parts of description of complete system are cross-linked. The object model is most fundamental, however, because it is necessary to describe what is changing or transforming before describing when or how it changes. So it have shows relationship between the classes. The dynamic model shows the transition of the states and events, and data flow diagram shows the processes. Then fourth part, Differences from functional methodology. The object-oriented development inverts previous function-oriented methodology, as exemplified by methodologies. Primary emphasis is based on specifying and decomposing system functionalities. Such an approach might seem the most direct way of implementing a desired goal. If a request meant If requirements change, a system based on decomposing functionality may require massive reconstructing. By construct, by contrast, the object-oriented approach focuses first on identifying objects from the application domain, then fitting produces around them. Although this may seem more indirect, object-oriented software holds up better as requirements evolve because it is based on the underlying framework of the application domain itself rather than the ad hoc functional requirements of single problem. Then next last part of the chapter, object oriented themes. So there are several themes underlying object oriented technologies, although these themes are not unique to object oriented system. They are particularly well supported in object oriented systems. So abstraction, encapsulation, combining data and behavior, and sharing. These are the four themes regarding object oriented. We'll see one by one. Abstraction. Abstraction is consist of focusing on essential inherent aspects of entity and ignoring accidental properties. Use of abstraction preserves the freedom to make decisions as long as possible by avoiding premature commitments to details. Most modern languages provide data abstraction, but the ability to use inheritance polymorphism provide additional power. Use of abstraction during analysis means dealing only the application domain aspects, not making the design and implementation decisions before the problem is understood. Proper use of abstraction allow the same model to be used for analysis, high level design, program structure, database structure, and documentation. A language independent style of design differs programming details until the final relatively mechanical stage of development. Then next is encapsulation is known as also known as information hiding consistent. It consists of separating external aspect of an object which are accessible to other objects from the internal implementation details of objects which are hidden from other objects. Encapsulation prevents a program from becoming so interdependent that a small change has massive ripple effects. The implementation of an object can be changed without affecting the applications that use it. One may want to change the implementation of an object to improve performance, fix a bug, consolidate code, or for porting. porting. Encapsulation is not unique to object-oriented language, but the ability to combine data structure and behavior in a single entity makes encapsulation cleaner and more powerful than the conventional languages that separate the data structure and behavior. Then combining data structure and behavior. That is the encapsulation, but it is a different. The caller of the operation need not consider how many implementation of an opera exist. Operator polymorphism shifts the burden of the deciding what implementation to use from the calling code to the class hierarchy. For example, a non-object oriented code to display contents of window must distinguish the type of each figure such as polygon, circle or text and call appropriate procedures to display. An object-oriented program would simply invoke a draw operation on each figure. The decision of which procedure to use is made implicitly by each object based on its class. It is unnecessary to repeat the choice of procedure every time the operation is called in the application program. Maintenance is easier because the calling code need not modified when a new class is added. In an object-oriented system, the data structure hierarchy is identical to the operation inheritance hierarchy. In this figure, the conventional procedural approach, that is the data structure hierarchy as shown in this part, and procedural hierarchy as shown in this part, both are combined together in object oriented approach. It can be seen like this. That is a class hierarchy. And last part is sharing. Object oriented technique promotes sharing. Sharing means inheritance, acquiring properties from one class to another class. That is sharing. Inheritance of both data structure and behavior allows common structure to be shared among several similar subclasses without redundancy. The sharing of code using inheritance is one of the main advantage of object oriented language. More important than saving in a code is the conceptual clarity from the recognizing on different operations are all really on the same thing. The reduces number of different cases that must be understood and analyzed. So you know the concept of inheritance. Then next part is modeling and designing technique. So we'll study modeling and design technique. So model is an abstraction of something for the purpose of understanding before building it. Model is a small demo. Suppose there is a construction of a building. Before constructing a building, there is a small demo of that building. So the model, it is a part, that is abstraction of something for purpose of understanding that the building it, because a model omits non-essential details. It is easier to manipulate than original entity. Abstraction is a fundamental human capability that permits us deal with the complexity. Engineers, artists, and craftsmen have built models for thousands of years to try out designs before executing them. Development of hardware and software systems is no exception. To build complex system, The developer must abstract different views of system, build models using precise notations, verify that the models satisfy the requirements of the system, and gradually add details to the transformed models into implementation. Object oriented modeling concepts are applied to analysis design. There are three kinds of object oriented models, like object modeling techniques, that in that there is object, then dynamic modeling technique, then functional modeling techniques. The object modeling technique in which object model which describes static structure, dynamic model technique which describes the temporal relationship, and functional model technique which describes functional relationship among the values. Then testing a physical entity. Modeling, a testing a physical entity before building it. The medieval machines did not know modern physics, but they built scale models of Gothic cathedrals to test the forces on the structure. Scale models of aeroplanes, cars, and boats have been tested in the wind tunnels and water tanks to improve their aerodynamics. Recent advances in conception permits the simulation of many physical structures without having to build physical models. Not only simulation cheaper, but it provides information that is too fleeting or inaccessible to be measured from a physical model. Both physical models and computer models are usually cheaper than building a complete system and enables fraud to be corrected early. Then in modeling there are three types: communication with constructor customers, visualization, reduction of the complexity. The communication with customer, the architect and product designers build models to show their customers. Mockups are demonstrations products that imitate some or allow of the external behavior of system. Visualization, storyboards of movies, television shows, and advertisement allows the return to show to to see how their ideas flow. Acquires, transitions, dangling ends, and unnecessary segments can be modified before detailed writing begins. Artists' sketches allow them to block out their ideas and make changes before committing them to oil or stone. Reduction of the complexity. Perhaps main reason of modeling which incorporates all the previous reasons is to deal with systems that are too complex to understand directly. The human mind can cope with only a limited amount of information at a time. Models reduce complexity by separating out a small number of important things to deal with at a time. So, concept is abstraction, you have studied. Then, object oriented techniques, you have also studied. Object model, dynamic model, and functional model. Then, details in details they have given object model, functional model, and dynamic model. So then their relationship among the models. Each model describes one aspect of system, contains references to other models. The object model describes a data structure that the dynamic and functional models operate on. The operations on the object model correspond to the event in dynamic model and functional model in functions in functional model and events in dynamic model. The dynamic model describes control structure of objects. It shows the decisions on depend which depend on object values and which cause the actions that change object values and invoke the function. The functional model describes the functions invoked by operations in object model and actions in dynamic models. Functions operate on data values specified by the object model. Function model also shows the constraints in object values. There are occasional ambiguities about which model should contains a piece of information. This is a natural because any abstraction is only a rough cut at a reality. Something will inevitably straddle the boundaries. Some properties of the system may be poorly represented by some models. This is also normal because no abstraction can capture everything. The goal is to simplify the system description without loading down the model with so many constructs that it becomes a burden and not a help. For those things that the model does not adequately capture, natural languages or application specific notation is still a perfectly applicable tool. Then what is the purpose of modeling? That is a reduction of complexity. The main reason for modeling is to deal with systems that are too complex to understand directly. Models reduce the complexity by separating out a small number of important things to deal with at a time. So there are three models again: class model, state model, and interaction model. So class model for object in the system and their relationship, state model for the life history of object, and interaction model interaction among the object. Class model related with object model, state model related with dynamic model, and interaction model related with function model. So same models but with different names. Here we have used a property as polymorphism. So objects. So first is object, that is class model. So in class model we should know the concept of object. So define objects as a concept, abstraction or thing with powerful meaning. There are two purposes of object: promote understanding in the real world, provide the practical basis for computer implementation, and all objects have identity and differentiable. So an object has, this picture shows an object has a state, behavior and identity. Initially the object is simple object, but in second picture shows the behavior of object, and in third picture shows the identity of that object, which is different from other objects. Then class. An object class describes a group of objects with similar properties, common behaviors, common relationships to other objects, and common semantics. Object of a class share common semantic purpose. It provides a formal graphic notation for modeling object classes and their relationships to one another. So object diagram. So it provides a formal graphic notation for modeling object classes and their relationship to one another. They are useful for both abstraction modeling and designing actual programs. There are two types of diagrams: object diagram, and that is class diagram, and instance diagram. Instance diagram means object diagram. So first we will study class diagram. A class diagram is a schema, that is a pattern or template for describing many possible instances of data. So it describes the classes. See in this figure, a rectangle shows the class name of the, shows the properties of the class, and person, it is a name of the class. This is a class diagram of name person. Then instance diagram, that is object diagram, which describes a particular set of objects related to each other. So in previous diagram, in previous slide we have seen the class. In previous diagram we have seen the class diagram. Class diagram shows with the rectangle, whereas the object diagram shows the by curved rectangle. This is object diagram. Class diagram shows by the pure rectangle, whereas the object diagram shows the curved rectangle. Then the bracket, in bracket there is a name person which indicates the class. Okay, here name class is person, here name class is person, here name class is person, and Ram, Zai, these are objects of that class. This is the instance diagram. So we shows a particular set of object relate with each other. Then attribute. Attribute is a data value held by the objects in a class. Each attribute name is unique within the class. Each attribute should be pure data value, not an object. Attributes are listed in the second part of the class box. Each attribute name may be followed by optional details such as type and default type. The type is preceded by a colon. Here, person is a name of class. Then these are the attributes: name, age, name in the form of string, age in the form of integer. These are the attributes of class. Then here objects of the class person. So this is a class diagram shown by the rectangle, then which is separated by a line. With first part, upper part indicates the class name and below parts indicates the attributes of that class. Then object diagram indicated by curved rectangle. In that, in bracket, the name contains class name. Here class name is person. Then Ram or Zai is the name of the object of that particular class, and the attributes, that is 24, 34. These are the attributes of that class or part of the class: name Ram or Zai, age 24 or 34 or whatever. This is the object value with the class, object values, objects with values, and this is the class with attributes. This is object modeling notations. Then operations and methods. The operation is a function or transformation that may be applied to or by objects in a class. All objects in a class share same operation. The same operation may apply many different classes. Such an operation is polymorphic. That is, the same operation takes different forms in different classes. See again, an operation is a function or transformation that may be applied to or by objects in a class. All objects in a class share same operations. The same operation may apply to many different classes. Such an operation is polymorphism. The same operation takes on different forms in different classes. A method is the implementation of the operation for a class. So operation and method. Operation is listed in the lower third of the class box. First, here name of the class, then attributes. Second part is attributes. Third part is operations. So example, a file may have operation print. Different methods could be implemented to print ASCII files, binary files, and print digitized pictures. So here person, name of class, name, age is the attributes of that class, and change job, change add is the operations of that class. Similarly here, file is a name of class, name size is the attributes of that class, and print is operation of that class. This is the operation and methods. Then next parts is links and association. Question may be asked for 4 marks. Explain concepts, links and association. Link and association. For links and associations are the means of establishing relationship among the objects and classes. Links and associations are the means for establishing relationship among objects and classes. That is linking. There is a relationship between objects and classes. A link is physical or conceptual connection between the object. हाँ बोला क्या हाँ बोला क्या मॅडम आता आता करा ट्राय जॉईन करू आपण Okay, okay. Link and association. It is a relationship between the classes and objects. Link is physical or conceptual connection between objects. A link is instance of an association. A link shows the relationship between two or more objects. The next part is association. An association describes group of links with common structure and semantics. All the links in an association connect objects from the same classes. Association and links often appear as a verb in a problem statement. An association describes a set of potential links in the same way that a class describes a set of potential objects. Associations are bidirectional. In real, both directions of traversal are equally meaningful and refer to the same association. Associations are often implemented in programming languages as pointers from one object to other. Then notations. All connections among the classes should be modeled as association. There are three types of notations: one to one notation, one to many notation, one to one notation, many to many notation, and ternary notation. That is one to one association, many to many association, and ternary association. So here in this figure, one to one association and link. So first we will see the class diagram. Name of class is country and its attribute is name. There is another class city, its attribute is name. There is a link has a capital, country has a capital. This is a class diagram. Country has capital, city. This is the class diagram. In object diagram, so object is here India, then its class is country. Similarly, object is France, its class is country. Similarly, in case of city, Delhi is object of class city, Paris is object of class city. So India has capital Delhi, France has capital Paris, is an instance diagram of class diagram. Country has capital city. So this is one to one association and links. Similarly here, one to many association. Suppose we are drawing a line. Suppose we are drawing a line. So line is an class name. Then name of line is attributes. Similarly, point is a class name. Then its attribute is name. There is line intersects point. This is the relation. And line intersects many points. That is, it shows a relation between two or more. So 2 plus indicates that 2 or more. 1 plus indicates that 1 or more. 3 plus indicates that 3 or more, and so on. Similarly, there are 5 lines L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. These are the objects of the class line. Similarly, P1 and P2, these two objects of class point. So line L1 intersects P1, line L2 intersects P1, line L3 intersects P1. Similarly, in case of point P2, line L3 intersects P2, line L4 intersects P2, and line L5 there is no intersection. May be possible. So, and this is ternary association and links. So, this ternary association indicated by the shape diamond or small rhombus. So, here three classes: project, person, and language. This class diagram and below this the object diagram of that class diagram. So here project MIS, project name is MIS, handling person name Zai with language.net. Similarly, CAD project handling with person Zai with C language. This is ternary association with MIS Zai.net or CAD Zai C. Not like this MIS handling by project Zai with C language. Not like this. It likes MIS Zai and .net and CAD Zai and C. This is ternary association and link. Then multiplicity. We have studied one-to-one association, many-to-many association, or ternary association. But there is multiplicity. It specifies how many instances or that is objects of one class may relate to a single instance of associated class. How many objects of one class may relate to a single object of associated class in OMT, that is solid ball, that is with black. This is a solid ball. In OMT, solid ball indicates 0 or more, 0 or more, and hollow ball, that is empty circle, indicates that optional, that is 0 or 1. Multiplicity depends on assumption and how you define the boundaries of the problem. Then link and attributes, as you have studied in software engineering, and link attribute is a property of links in an association. Here class, file, then user, then its attributes are access permission. So
Sir Baski,
half an hour remaining. So file have attributes temp, user, login. So it's have access permissions, that is read, write, execute. Then user is Ram, Sham, Mohan. So this is the link attributes for many to many association. File temp have access permission read by user Ram or Mohan or Sham. Similarly, login it have read write permission by Ram, Mohan or Sham, etc. This is many to many attributes. Then next part is aggregation. Aggregation, it is a part of relationship. It is, it has a transitivity properties. That is A is part of B. B is part of C, then A is part of C. It is anti-symmetry, that is A is part of B. B is not a part of A. It shows the part of relationship. It shows the property of transitivity. It shows the property of anti-symmetric. Aggregation is a special form of association. So it shows by the small diamond. So see here, document as shown in figure. Documentation. It is a part of a paragraph. Suppose you are written one page, that is a document. Okay, in that number of paragraphs. Okay, paragraph is a one single part of that document. Similarly, in paragraph there are number of sentences. A single sentence of that paragraph is a part of that paragraph. So aggregation is drawn like association. So sentence is associated with paragraph. Paragraph is associated with document. That is, sentence is associated with document, or document is done by the sentence. This is the transitivity you can show. But reflect antisymmetric, that is, document contains a paragraph, but paragraph does not contains a document. Similarly, a paragraph contains a sentence, but sentence does not contain a paragraph. This is antisymmetric property in case of aggregation. So a small diamond indicates the assembly end of the relationship. So solid circle indicates that there are zero or more, one or more. So in a document there are number of paragraphs. In a paragraph there are number of sentences. And then diamond indicates sentence is a part of paragraph. Paragraph is part of document. Then aggregation. It is a form of association in which an aggregate object is made of components. Components are part of aggregate. Aggregate is inherently transitive. An aggregate has parts by many in turn have parts. Aggregation is a special form of association. If two objects are tightly bound by part or whole relationship, it is an aggregation. If two objects usually considered as independent, even though they may often be linked, is it an association? This is the concept for aggregation versus association. Aggregation is a special form of association. If two objects are tightly bound by part-whole relationship, it is an aggregation. And if two objects are usually considered as independent, even though they may often linked. If we are considering two objects are independent each other, but even though they are linked, that is known as association. But in case of aggregation, if we are considering they are bounded to each other but they work differently, that is the aggregation. Suppose here example is given as a company is an aggregation of its divisions. which are in terms aggregation of their departments. A company is directly an aggregation of departments. A company is not aggregation of employees. Company is indirectly an aggregation of departments. College is indirectly aggregation of departments. Okay, a company is not aggregation of employees. College is not aggregation of employees, since the company and person independent object, equal structure and status. Company is different, employee is different, but there is shows the relationship, so it is association. So here example is given. Company, a company have many departments or many divisions, many different parts. Then each different part have different departments. So it is aggregation. Department have a division, division have a company. But here there are many persons working in that company. That is, it is association, not working for division, not working for a department, but they are working to a company, that is association. Then next concept is generalization. It is a relationship between base class and subclass, that is superclass and subclass. It shows the relationship as is a relationship, because each instance of subclass, each object of subclass is an object of superclass. It shows the is a relationship. Then what is the difference between aggregation and generalization? Aggregation relates instances. Two different objects are involved. One of them is part of other. That is, there is a relation between two objects. In case of generalization, relates with the classes. Aggregation relates with the objects. Aggregation is often called as a part of relation, part of relationship. Generalization is often called as a kind of or is a relationship. Aggregation sometimes called an relationship, whereas a generalization is referred as or a relationship. The question may be asked for 4 marks. Write a difference between aggregation and generalization. So here in this figure shows the concept. There are different types of. First main class is lamp. So aggregation is denoted by the small diamond, whereas generalization is denoted by small triangles. Generalization is denoted by small triangle, aggregation is denoted by small diamonds. Aggregation is a part of relationship, whereas generalization is a kind of or is a relationship. Aggregation has a relationship. So any lamp, here concept class is a lamp, have properties, has a base, cover, switch, wiring, and lamp is a. There are two types of lamps, fluorescent lamps and incandescent lamp. Then fluorescent has a part 1, part 2, part 3. Incandescent has a part 4. This is shows the relation or a combination of aggregation and generalization. Aggregation is a part of or has a relation where it shows by the small diamond, whereas a generalization is a kind of or is a part, is a relationship. Then recursive aggregation. Aggregation is fixed, variable, or recursive. A fixed aggregate has fixed structure. The number and types of subparts are predefined. For example, LAMP. Variable aggregation has a finite number of levels, but number of parts may vary. For example, company. A recursive aggregation contains directly or indirectly an instance of same kind of aggregate. The number of potential levels is unlimited. For example, computer programs. So recursive aggregation. You have studied the program of while loop, for loop, or do while loop. When you draw the flowchart diagram of any loop, the same flowchart is used here. Program has a block. Program has a block. Block is a kind of or is a block is a compound statement or simple statement. Program has a block. Block is a compound statement or simple statement. Then compound statement has a block. Compound statement has a block. It is recursive aggregate. Compound statement means for loop, while loop, do while loop, switch case, whatever. So it has a block. And then block have again compound statement. Again compound statement have is a block, has a block. Block is a compound statement. This is a recursive block. For simple statement, x is equal to I. Okay, then it will be print. In block statement, it is a combination of two or more simple statements. Then compound statement is a single statement combines work multiple statements of optionally blocks. Then propagation of operation. We'll study the remaining part in next lecture. Before we stop here,